This is a pie chart from a not very diverse college campus. Based on the statistics found on the College Factual in 2014, 56% of this college campus is Caucasian. Does this look familiar at all? Because this is Cal Poly's ethnicity statistics. Cal Poly has, as we all kind of can look around and see, one of the least CSU's ethnicity diverse campus. But they are having many ways to promote and advocate for diversity and inclusivity on campus. You may have seen some of these banners. I know on the way to my dorms there's some of those. So diversity is very important in your everyday lives, in your relationships, in your workplace, and most importantly, maybe on college campuses. But the way in which the college application process has established diversity is very unethical. Students can feel that their worth and ability to get into a college is based specifically on their race, not because of their achievements. So I'm here today to establish the need that race should be eliminated in the college application process. And I'm going to tell you why acceptance based on race is creating inequality, why socioeconomic status is a more qualifying factor, and why that in itself encompasses diversity, which is accomplishing the point to begin with. So acceptance based on race is creating inequality. So consider race in college admissions. One, it holds different ethnic groups to different standards. It allows discrimination in favors of some and against others. And by choosing one student over another solely based on race is by definition racial inequality. This is causing the same problems that we are trying to solve. Students should be accepted based on merit and who excels in their studies, not accepted simply because of their race or ethnicity. According to Loretta Brown's article on CS News, she revealed that a Gallup poll conducted in July 2017 showed that 70% of Americans agree with this statement and oppose considering race in college admissions. This includes 57% of African American people, 67% of Caucasian people, and 47% of Asian people. So race in itself does not provide that someone has grown up with less means to do well, which is the center point for why this is an unfair and unequal process. For example, it's assuming that all white people have access to wealth, and this erases the white poor and the working class people. It also, referring to communities of color with the assumption that they all come from poverty, erases the black middle class and other privileged people of color. Also, it really opens up stereotypes, assuming that most people of color are coming from low-income societies. Race shouldn't be a factor in the college admissions process, but here's the solution. Economic status should. So I'm here to satisfy the need that socioeconomic status is a more qualifying factor. There's some obvious disadvantages to your accessibility to the same types of resources if you were born into or grew up in a lower income household. So for example, the lack of access to tutors. If you're living paycheck to paycheck, sometimes it's not a possibility to get your child a tutor in the subject that he might need. Also, the lack of additional preparation for the SAT or ACT. We've all been there. We know that it can be expensive. According to Laura Staffarini's article, How Much Should You Pay? How much should you pay for the ACT and SAT tutors? Published by Prep Scholar in 2015, the average tutor costs $30 to $50, and a higher quality tutor costs anywhere from $80 to $200. For someone who might work a minimum wage job in California, so making about $10.50 an hour, it would take them 7.5 hours to make enough money. Sorry, I put on Do Not Disturb. Okay. Making $10.50 an hour, it would take them 7.5 hours to make enough money for 1 hour of higher education and tutoring. And then even the lack of general materials that would enhance your ability to excel. In Monica Anderson's article, The Demographics of Device Ownership, published by Pew Research Center in 2015, she says that only 50% of households who make less than $30,000 a year own a computer or laptop. And also having to work, and sometimes in more cases, multiple jobs. Robert I. Lerman in his article, Are Teens in Low-Income and Welfare Families Working Too Much? Public within the New Institute states, the new worry is that students working 20 or more hours per week are losing too much sleep, reducing their school performance, and risking health problems. An individual has accomplished more by rising above a lot of these factors than just being born into a specific race. So if you take a look at some of these pie charts, This is representing the high achieving high school seniors, so they have roughly the same GPAs and SAT scores. But the bottom 25% of income distribution, only 34% has attended a four-year university, while the top 25%, 78% attend a four-year university. And this is according to the analysts conducted by two long-term education research professors from Stanford and Harvard in David Leonhardt's New York Times article. So it's just some quick statistics found from the book No Longer Separate, Not Yet Equal, published by Princeton University Press. So simply by being an African American applicant, it's as if you scored a 310 SAT point game, which is a lot. You have a 27.7% increase in acceptance. And it also creates a stereotype that if you're born in, like I said before, if you were born in as an African American, that you were born from poverty, or you're born from a lower class. But 86% of African Americans at selective colleges are from the upper and middle class. And then just by putting a race of a certain race, you're 3 times more likely to be admitted to a four-year university. And even people of race admit that this is creating hostility and inequality. So as found in the article, How Increasing College Access is Increasing Inequality and What to Do About It, written by Anthony P. Carabell, it discusses how socially economically disadvantaged students, so low versus high income, a lower socioeconomic status is supposedly supposed to score 399 points lower than someone with higher socioeconomic status, whereas someone who is black is only scoring 56 points lower than someone who's white. So there's so much more of a disadvantage for a low-income student than that of a person of color, and that's just creating certain types of racial inequality. So what to do about this? To visualize the future, socioeconomic status as a factor would provide true and real diversity. While diversity is often connected to race, it should not be forgotten that having a range of socioeconomic backgrounds on a college campus provides true diversity as well. If colleges are looking for diversity, this is how it can be achieved in a much more fair and ethical way. So this is a quote from Jedediah C. Eisler, and he says, "Black students' responsibility in the classroom is not to serve as seasoning to the academic soup. They do not function primarily to enrich the learning experience of white students. Black students come to the classroom for the same reason white students do. They love education and want to know more." So all in all, using race as a factor upon application to create equality actually promotes racial inequality, moving us backwards from what we're trying to accomplish. A better way to do this would be eliminate race as a component completely, and instead implement socioeconomic background as a means to differentiate applications. So I encourage all of us to not look at someone's race as something that should be seen as a setback. Someone's race should not minimize their abilities and their achievements. They are powerful African American, Hispanic, Asian American, and other ethnic individuals who accomplish so much, and our country should try to be eliminating racial inequality in every way possible, including higher education. Thank you.